Okay, everyone, you are looking at this Singer sewing machine table. I believe it is 1957, 1956, because the original sewing machine that I've just done a video on is the Singer 403A, and those the 400 series would have debuted around 1956-57, give or take. Now, I told you guys I'm really excited about this table. You look at it, oh yeah, some blonde 50s sewing table. So what? Well, I'm going to show you why I really like it. Some of you, when you're sewing, you have your sewing table regardless of how old it is, and some of the styles are bigger, some are wider, some are smaller. But one of the things people often find they need to do is they take their sewing table and they put it up against a dining table to get more room when you have something large. Maybe you're sewing a quilt or some drapery, or I don't know, even sewing a sheet or a slip cover. You have some big piece you're sewing, and you don't want it falling all the way over into the floor for a number of reasons. One of which is it puts a lot of strain on your needle. And I was in amazement of how people in the past sewed these large objects. Well, at some point, someone at Singer thought, maybe we have a solution to this, and I'm going to show it to you guys. It's really funny. When I saw this table, I wasn't absolutely sure. I just noticed, and if you look, I don't know if you guys saw before, but there's actually what looks like two layers. It looks like this is where the sewing machine would sit, but in fact, this is a cap, right? The top does not open like a clamshell like that. It opens from front to back for a very cool reason. So if you'll bear with me here, I've got to ergonomically figure out how I'm going to do this and keep everything on the camera. Okay, so let's say you are just getting this table home. Maybe it's 1956 and you just got a new machine. You're so excited. Well, you take the top and you tilt it backwards. And as you do so, you do it carefully. This thing's very heavy. And that top cover lowers and it hangs in the back. Now I'm going to move the camera for you guys and let you see what I can see. Okay guys, now you can see the top, and where it has folded is basically hanging down, almost not quite vertically. It doesn't actually hang down vertically. It has some bump stops on the back to keep it from smacking into the rest of the table. But you think, okay, why did they do that? Well, they have a reason. So if I bring you guys further onto the side, you will see some really big beefy hinges down here, and there is a reason for that, because this table expands. I'm just beside myself. I'm so excited about it. And maybe it's just because I've never seen one before. So yeah, even someone like me who's been doing this like 9 years, I find things new that I've never seen, and you can never learn it all, guys. There's so much out there. We could spend a lifetime and we won't ever get to see all the machines and all the wonderful things out there. The sewing world is a very old and big world, which is great. So this, of course, is where my 403 was sitting. I've removed it because I removed most of my machines when I'm overhauling them out of the table, because I need to get to them and I don't want to spill stuff on the table and harm the table while I'm doing that. Now, so for the really big deal of this table, I'm going to basically expand this table, and I'm going to double its surface area. So let me get around there and I will do that. So when you're behind the table, or if you're beside it, you're going to take the piece that you just put down underneath, and on the side of the table are these large hinges I mentioned, and you simply pull up on them and lock them into place. And you need to do both sides. I think it might have been designed to see. I got the other one in place. If you don't have both of these in place, it doesn't work. There we go. So now I have done both hinges. Look at this, guys. You can see it is massive. So the machine being here, let's say you have a large piece, you can lay it out. It's great. Now, those of you who have featherweight, Singer featherweights, Singer also made special tables for the featherweights. They also made them for the larger Slant-O-Matic machines, the 301s. And those tables can be quite large. They're the size of card tables. And then you have to fold up the whole table when you're done or leave it. But this one is different because this table, unlike those, you either leave them out and use them and they're wonderful, or you put them away. With this one, it's almost as if it expands and contracts. It's like those RVs that have these pop-outs, I guess you'd call it. But it's pretty strong. I mean, this is a heavy piece here, right? And yet these two very beefy hinges hold it in place. And there you are. And you have this massive sewing surface. When you're done and you really don't want this to take up any more space in your home, you simply lift up and then you collapse the hinge on either side. And while I collapse that hinge, I'm going to hold this up. This, again, you don't want this coming down fast. And you don't want your hands or your fingers smashed. And then, again, when I'm done with that expanded, I can lower it down and continue using it in what you might think of as a more standard size, although this, you have to remember, the machine table here is quite wide because you don't have a clamshell piece lid to expand it. And then when you're done, you can either leave the machine out and leave this expanded leaf, if you will, to the table, just simply hanging down. That's probably what I will do. I leave my machines out and up because I love looking at them. But if you don't, and someone in the 50s likely hid this when they were finished, you bring this back piece up and it pivots beautifully and lands right there. Obviously the machine has been tucked under in that case. It's a wonderful design and I wanted to share this with you. You guys know I love sewing tables. I don't make videos about tables very often because I get a lot of the same tables over and over, but this one was unique. It has two drawers on the front. It has a line here. That's just sort of like a false, not a false front, but it's designed to look like four, but it's two. No big deal. But there you have it. That is my latest find, and I really like this table a lot, so much I'm really tempted to say this is the table I'm going to keep. If you guys have heard me fawn over things before, you know I've always said that, and then some person who sews, I'm not much of a sewer, I'm a sewing machine person, someone who sews says, you know, I really need a machine, you know, what do you have? I really want this machine. I end up selling it, but we'll see. We'll see if this is the one that I keep, but I love it. I love the practicality of it and the fact that it doesn't have to take up a massive amount of space in a home. And as I mentioned to you guys before, you know, in the 50s, the average North American house size was about 900 square feet. Today, that's easily more than doubled, right? The average house in the United States is, in the US, maybe in all of North America, is around, I don't know, 2,000, 25, it's some huge number compared to the past. So you can understand, as I've mentioned before in other videos about tables, why people were very sensitive about bringing another piece of furniture into the home and how it had to be very practical, beautiful, but you know, it was not an easy sell, and you know, just because of the pricing alone, they were crazy expensive, but they were necessary, and this was a wonderful innovation, I think, and I'm surprised that more companies don't do this with modern tables, or maybe they do. Let me know what you guys think. Some of you have opinions about sewing tables. Some of you, you don't really care one way or the other. But let me know what you think. Let me know if you've seen one of these. I have seen these advertised before. I saw one other, but it was in a darker color. Obviously, you had color choices back then. Not everyone wanted the lighter mid-century modern color. They might take the same style table and do it in a darker, right? It was an easy thing to offer customers and give them choice. So there you go, guys. I just spent almost 10 minutes talking about a sewing table that I'm excited about, and that doesn't happen often. I love all the tables. They are amazing and high quality. But I'm thinking about keeping this one just because it has this sort of, it's like a convertible. You know, it converts to something twice the surface area, which I just think is so clever. Anyway, let me know what you think there down below, and stay tuned. As I promised in another video, I will be making more videos on the Singer 403. I haven't done a 400 series or even a Slant-O-Matic video in a while, and it's time. It's time to get back into these amazing machines, and we'll talk more about them as the new videos come out. Thanks for watching, everybody.